going after walleye today, so good drag, a little bit longer rod, sharp teeth, ate it immediately. Big old summertime walleyes. Ate it. I don't know what I have, but it's sizable. Now I can see that fish on LiveScope right there. Just what I thought it might be. Yep, nice big walleye. Come on, girl. Oh. Look at what I got here for you guys. Look at what I got here for you guys. Just a big, beautiful, golden walleye. That hook perched right in his lip. Oh, look at that. Nice big fat one. Holy smokes. He's been eating well. Summertime walleye. Fishing off of big, expansive points. Let her go real quick. This lake does not have a lot of walleyes in it, but the ones that it does house are big. And they're very random. I would say there are no schools of walleye in here. There might be a pair, there might be 3, but I've never seen more than that. When I say I've never seen more than that, LiveScope. I know that for a fact because the fish that I'm hunting right now are 100% like individuals. And so I'm using a long drop shot and a leech, and I might explore a little different avenue with a little, I might try drop swim in a little swim bait biome or something like that. But right now, just to we just got out here and I just kind of getting a feel for what's going on. Heavy drop shot, teardrop, tungsten. This is a little fusion drop shot hook. Very nice and compact. I've had pretty darn good luck with it as far as a short shank drop shot hook. So I've been running with that program. Like I said, a long drop shot leader, and it's kind of a reaction bite. I see the fish and I pitch out to him. That drop shot, poof, down, at least a 3/8 ounce. I've been using 1/2 ounce and even up to 3/4 ounce tungsten. Quickly getting it in their face seems to trigger something. She's coming over to it. That one's definitely looking at it. It's kind of hard to, there, he's got it. There he is. You can see he has a buddy with him, and I think it's a smallmouth, but I'm not sure. Right depth of water. You just never really know. You can see him coming up on LiveScope right there, going back down, coming back up. Kind of have a feeling it might be a walleye though. My feeling is correct. Look at that. Big old walleye, goodness. Oh gosh, look at the size of that critter. Holy balls. Wow, I'm gonna anchor lock us right here. Get that hook right out of the corner of her mouth. There we go. Tangled up in the line here. That's one thing about drop shot. Kind of have things going everywhere, but it's another nice quality walleye. Not an absolute giant, but just a very nice stout walleye. Leech eater. We're gonna let her go real quick. Tunk. You can see the bait around that fish. The bait's avoiding that fish. He's just on the edge of him, but he's definitely, you know, he looks to me like he's probably hungry considering he's on the tail of some bait. I'm gonna sneak up a little bit closer. It seems like 30 feet is like my sweet spot. That way I can drop a cast right on their head, such as that one. There's no way he has to see that one. He went down, he's interested. There he is. I'm gonna try and keep LiveScope zeroed in on him. It's kind of cool to watch them. You can see where they are in the water column. You know, he's 10 feet down. I do like that long rod because those fish do have a tendency to, you know, we're targeting bigger fish, so they have a pretty good size, you know, a good head shake. And then that fluorocarbon has a little bit of stretch in it. I really like it. See, it's really, really windy today. Audio's probably not great, but we're doing the best we can. This fish is just dogging me like a walleye would. He came in about 20 feet of water, no, 25 feet, big head shakes. Back down he goes, down to the bottom. 35 feet of water. You can see it's a good sized fish on LiveScope. It's a good sign it's a walleye, fighting like a walleye. I just backed off my anchor lock and we're just drifting with this fish out over deep water. 44 feet of water, 20 feet down still. 15 feet down, there's my leader. 10 feet down, we're gonna get a look at him. Oh, I just barely saw him. Down he went. Coming up, big walleye. No, oh boy, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. This is a serious one right here. Holy cow! He's not done. He's not done. This is a very, very nice walleye. Come on, girl. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Just want to look at you. Come on, come on. I'm gonna ease up on her a little bit here. Oh, God. Oh, it's so windy. Come on. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Look at that thing. That's a giant. Now I'm going to anchor lock. Oh, my gosh. I knew there was giant ones in here. Hooked in the roof of the mouth. There we go. Got it. Drop shots clear. Big old summertime walleyes on drop shots. Long lead drop shots. That is a kicker there. So we just pulled up against the shoreline here where it's a little less windy. And I was just gonna talk to you a little bit more about what I'm doing with this drop shot, this whole presentation, and the tactic that is involved with it. It is very, very, very heavily electronics related. You can do this on any lake. This lake just happens to be a little bit different. It's really deep, it's really clear, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't do it anywhere walleyes live. These are my eyes. The LiveScope is my eyes to the underwater world. And without it, it would really be hard to find these fish because they're like I said, there's not schools of them. They're just really nomadic, big nomadic roamers. There's kind of an X and a Y axis here, if you want to call it that. 0 being directly right under the boat, but then I can look out. I'm looking out 100 feet currently. If there's a fish that's 5 feet off bottom, I can pick them off at 100 feet and I can go over to them and investigate. But the thing of it is I don't want to get so close to them. My sweet spot for this particular instance of this type of fishing is about 30 to 35 feet. That's about as close as I like to get. I kind of have a muscle memory as far as making a pitch, my pitch or flip, whatever you'd like to call it, with a drop shot, I know the distance that's going, and that's usually around that 30 to 35 mark. And the reason I'm not trying to hit them out at 60 is accuracy. Because I'm only fishing one single fish a lot of the time, I want to make that first drop as precise and pinpoint as possible right in front of that fish. The more accurate you can present that bait to any kind of fish, for that matter, the better off you're gonna be. You know, let's say I'm in 28 feet of water. Yeah, there's 28 feet of water between you and the fish, but if I stay 28 feet away from the fish and the fish is 28 feet down, I've essentially doubled the distance as far as like a guy trying to drop a jig or something right over the top of the fish. I think that's a huge killer to getting a fish to bite, is getting right over the top of the fish and dropping something on them. If I can see them out 30, 35 feet and make a pitch out to them and drop straight on their head without having to get the boat directly over them, it's a huge advantage to being able to catch that fish, I believe. From what I've been able to see with these electronics, it's helped my catch rate go up like through the roof, because I'm not putting my boat over the top of the fish. What I think's going on with these walleye is that the ones that I am targeting, I'm usually generally seeing up off the bottom. Maybe they're around schools of bait, maybe they're just up high in the water column hunting, and I think that's what they're doing. I think the ones that you see that are up off the bottom, very visible to this, are the ones that are actually the fish you want to spend your effort on trying to catch. They're the ones that, you know, they're not the ones that are belly to the bottom, inactive, you know. So when you bomb a leech down in front of them with this heavy weight, as soon as that happens, it's either game on or you have to make another pitch to them. But after about if you spend more than 5 times throwing on them, and I mean like throwing on them, making accurate casts, you know, the LiveScope will show you a fish that's very active. But if there's a fish around your bait, they'll generally move pretty quickly around it. It's usually a good indicator that you can spend a little bit more time trying to coax that fish into biting. I definitely, when I tie a Albright, I definitely, with this light line, I like to do quite a few wraps, like 10 wraps. I feel like it goes through the guides better, makes a longer knot. I don't know if it's any stronger, but I feel like it kind of goes through my guides a little better. And then I'm not afraid to cut those tag ends really, really tight to the knot, because the knot is actually longer. I think it is less likely to fail then, or if it does start to loosen up, because there's more wraps, it doesn't go loose on me. Oh. Nice and tight. 15-pound braided Seaguar flash, green to a long 8-pound Tatsu. Thin to win, that's the game here. I'm fishing pretty darn deep, so I want some pretty light line, long leader, in case I have to retie. Because I'm fishing a long drop shot, I can get a couple ties out of it, plus it allows a little bit of stretch and forgiveness as far as hooking up a big fish. There's a lot of different drop shots out there, but they all kind of have the same style of head. And the one thing that I've been doing lately is taking a big flipping hook. You can open these little ends to widen that gap. And then what I'll do with my tungsten drop shot weight, this happens to be a little teardrop style. Whether it's a cylinder or a ball or teardrop, what I've kind of been doing is make a loop through the head of the teardrop and shortening up my tag end. So I have 2 pieces of line going through there as opposed to 1, and then I'll come back through, I'll loop that drop shot back through, and it kind of ties itself. You know, it's not being held by just one piece of line going through there. It's held by 2, so I feel it's just a lot stronger. So if I do get snagged on some rock down there, I can actually pull on it a little bit without those clips just cutting your line, and then you lose your tungsten weight. You know, if you look at this drop shot, this is about as long a drop shot as you probably comfortably can throw. I would say it's pushing the 4-foot mark. This is about twice as long as what a normal drop shot, you know, a bass fishing drop shot would be. But I think a lot of times some people kind of underestimate how high your lure that you're actually presenting to the fish is off the bottom, because a lot of times, depending on where you're throwing your drop shot, you can easily have 6 inches to 1 foot of like sandgrass or weeds or just muck and silt. So when you have a heavy drop shot, I always like to account for about 6 inches of mud or weeds of some kind. It's, you know, very rarely do I get to throw around real hard rock. It does happen, and then that's about the only instance where you know for sure everything you're throwing on is rock solid. But out here, we have sandgrass, we have some cabbage that's on the bottom, a little bit of coontail. So all of that ranges from about 6 inches to 1 foot off the bottom, on top of the little bit of silt. So I noticed on my electronics that I'm seeing fish, and when I drop my drop shot, it's much lower than the fish are. So I'm like, well, it doesn't seem like that should be the case, but it just is. And so I lengthened up my drop shot a lot, and I was like, okay, now I'm putting it, when that thing gets sent down there, I'm putting it smack dab in front of their face. It's clear water, they can see it, and I'm making very accurate casts to them. I'll use the bottom of the boat as a representation of the bottom of the lake. But if you're casting a drop shot at any distance, you have to think about the angle that's the drop shot's coming back to the boat. Unless you're fishing a drop shot directly underneath of the boat, yeah, that's how far it's gonna be, directly underneath of the boat. But once you make a cast with that drop shot, you start putting an angle, you know, your degree of the line when it's coming back, you start to increase the angle of which that bait is coming back. So yeah, I might have a 4-foot lead, but on a cast, I'm really only 2 feet off bottom because of that angle that you're making your cast. So I think people tend to run too short of a drop on their drop shot, but if it works for you, it works for you. It's just something to consider.